question. I think I watched anime when I was a kid and didn't even know that that's what it was that I was watching. I was an only child, so I watched TV a lot and took care of myself a lot. A single parent also, so mom was always working, and as soon as I was old enough to, handle myself and not burn the house down, that's what I did. So I watched a lot of cartoons, lots and lots and lots and lots of things. And I remember being obsessed with a show that a lot of you might be too young to have ever seen, but it was called Grimm's Fairy Tales, and it used to air on Nickelodeon.
Yes.
That's anime. I didn't know. I had no idea, because I was like 8, right? Until later on, once I'd already become a voice actress, and I was talking about that show, and a fellow voice actor and director named Tony Oliver, he's from Bang Zoom, and he's done all kinds of things, and he directed like Eureka 7 and all sorts of things. More things than I can name, like Gurren Lagann and stuff like that. He's like, I worked on that show. I'm like, what? It's like, yeah, it's anime. Nuh-uh. Like, yeah. And I did such and such and blah, 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 and I was the producer. And I'm like, shut up. So I was watching anime before I knew that it was even anime. And in high school is when Cartoon Network had Toonami and showed anime in the afternoons. And yeah, all last night was some sort of Toonami marathon, and there was like Gundam Wing was on, like, holy crap, and Yu-Yu, everything that has ever aired on Cartoon Network was on last night in this strange nighttime Toonami block. And Steve Bloom, 2 of my friends, Sonny Strait, who's the voice of Krillin on Dragon Ball, and then Steve Bloom, who's the voice of Spike in Cowboy Bebop. They both played Toonami Tom, the little robot host of Toonami, and Steve was putting all this stuff on Twitter like all night long about whatever was airing at the moment. It was pretty funny. Anyway, so I watched Toonami in high school. I had a friend actually who introduced me to Sailor Moon before I'd seen the show yet. This was kind of also the beginning of the internet, where people were really into just going online and finding images and stuff that they'd never been able to see before, because it was all like Japanese art and art books, and scanners were new, so everyone's scanning stuff and throwing it on the internet, and my friend would come to school with things that she printed, these beautiful pictures, all from Sailor Moon, and so we kind of became obsessed. And then I started watching the show, and my mom would watch it with me, which was really cool. So we'd sit down every day and be like, Sailor Moon, wow! I was such a dork. Then I kept up with it, and I moved away to college. I lived in California, and I moved to Texas for college, and I was a theater major, so I didn't really have time to watch TV. So when it got down to like season 4 of Sailor Moon, I would get to glance at it, but not watch it. Now I own it on DVD. But at the time, I'm like, oh, I wish I could watch. Later, I moved out of the house and really thought that I needed a hobby, because all I did was theater and ministry work at church, and those 2 things are perfectly fine, but when you devote all of yourself to them, like the other, one is not an escape from the other, they all just started to feel like work. I'm like, I need something that's fun. I was just wandering through the mall in a store called Suncoast. Does that even exist anymore?
No,
they're not. And there's a magazine for anime, and I forget what, New Type, which is defunct, no longer exists, and it came with a free DVD of, I don't know, random episodes of something. And the magazine was $10. I'm like, I'll buy that. I like anime, or I used to. Let me get that. So I got it, read all about what was going on in the world of anime, watched this DVD, and I'm like, cool. I think this will be my hobby. So that's what happened. And at the Blockbuster down the street from where I was staying, since they're all franchises, the owners can decide what they want in there. They had a huge anime section. So, like, every few days I was going to Blockbuster and renting a pile of, like, Evangelion and whatever the heck they had, and I'd watch it. What's really funny is I hadn't even gone to a convention or anything yet before I got the job as a voice actor. So my first con was, like, as a guest. I never got into, like, what all you guys are doing, which is totally awesome and fun, but I've never done it as a fan. I've only been to cons as a guest, which is bizarre. So that's how I got into it, and I still love it. I don't have a lot of time to watch anymore, because like I'm married and I have to work, and not as a voice actor. I'm an ESL teacher and a theater teacher. So not too much time for cartoon watching. And it's also hard to watch anime now in English because I've been a director. So it's hard to turn off that objective mind. And all I can see is like, oh, they didn't match the flaps, or why didn't they cast that person, or stuff like that. So actually, anime that I've watched since is in Japanese. I have to. And I love Japanese. I love listening to it. I'll watch it dubbed, like, to hear my friends and go like, oh, so that's what they sounded like, Japanese. Because I want to be able to enjoy the cartoon and not pick it apart. So.